In today's presentation, called the Final Avatar, I will discuss the pineal and its relation to your mind, demonstrate how a thought is held within the mind, show you how to see, which is to think and visualize, into the fifth dimensional state of consciousness, and fight the final battle of Kalki for you. I will begin with the threefold light of tripolarized electromagnetic current. In this visual, one can see how the pineal, synchronous with the numeral 3, is nested within the mind, synchronous with the numeral 9, or 3 times 3, or 3 cubed. This concept is also synchronous with the Om, the sound of the sacred spiritual symbol in Hinduism. Just as the triangle is in synchronous relation with the pineal, which is the numeral 3, so it is that the perfect cube is in synchronous relationship to the mind, which is the number 9. Here one can see the first 100 cube numbers and many of the inherent harmonic patterns of light contained within. And when the mind is balanced with the soul, you attain completion or perfection. Or one could look at this point of view of the mind balanced within itself, or the ether. The secret of light reveals that one can attain the fifth dimensional state of consciousness, that is, consciousness of hypercubital space, or simply the ether, when one can triangulate a thought. These three vectors in space, think of them as pitch, roll, and yaw, or A, B, and C, or X, Y, and Z, or 1, 2, and 3, allow one to expand a thought in any direction, being omnidirectional. Imagine a cube of thought which holds the original idea or meme, which is the essence of an idea. Now encase that cube with cubes. This second sphere or cube of influence contains the thought of the secret of light, being tripolarized electromagnetic current. Now, encase this level of cubes with this third order of magnitude in the knowledge of orders of magnitude. This level of knowledge allows one to slide up and down the eternal, perpetual, or infinite linear scale like a slide ruler to the appropriate synchronicity. The next encasement is the house of the root thought of understanding points of view. Thus the 1 and 3 emerged. He and the Father are one, and the 1, which is the root, which is the 3, the cube of thought, rests balanced in the 4, the field of thought. And the perfect balance between the 3, which is neutral, and the 4, which is neutral, is the neutral space of 3.14. Here's another way to visualize the relationship between the heart, pineal, and mind. And yet another variant of this synchronous relational imagery. The Atman rests in the middle, balanced by your heart and mind. Or we can look at this relationship from the point of view of tripolarized electromagnetic current resting in the field. These three vectors of layered thought rest in neutral space, balanced in between the 3, which is the pineal, and the field of neutral space recognized as the number 4, or the field, which is your heart. Or we can look at this relationship from the geometric point of view of the threefold light, where the cross sections of the 1 and the 2 and the 3 intersect and form the neutral fourth. Or we can visualize this relationship as the all-seeing eye, ever expanding into the infinity, eternity, and perpetuity of tripolarized thought. There are many motifs for the cosmic man, that is, man synchronously seen within various fractal patterns of life. Think of Adam Kadmon as the zodiacal man, or the form of 7 within man's chakra system. So my favorite motif of the cosmic man is a simple silhouette of a man with the superimposed geometric information of light and its operating matrix as the 4 polarized cardinal directions. Here we can see a numerical archetype point of view, with the number 1 being analogous with electricity on the right, the number 2 being magnetism on the left, the number 3, or pi, being the neutral apex of the pyramid, and the number 4 synchronized with your heart. Or one can view these as corresponding geometric shapes. Now, from a planetary point of view, we can see that this information corresponds with the sun being positive, the moon being negative, and the fixed stars being neutralized, as well as the Earth. The terrestrial planets follow suit with this pattern as well, with Mars being the positive, sacred masculine aspect, or lesser benefic, and Venus being the negative, sacred feminine aspect, or lesser malefic, and Mercury being the sacred hermaphroditic aspect, along with the neutralized Earth. And it is the same with the jovial planets, with Jupiter being positive, or the greater benefic, Neptune and Saturn being negative, or the greater malefics, and Uranus and Gaia being neutral. Another point of view is that of the atom and its many variants. The atom, or root particle, is a tripolarized toroid inside of the field. The field is the balanced root 4 of your anatomical morula, which means bulbary, and composed of your 64 T cells, or 4 times 4 times 4, known in two-dimensional geometry as the flower of life. And one can superimpose the 12-fold zodiac rooted on Earth over the flower of life in order to complete a cycle of synchronous and superimposed thought. Here one can see the relationship of the orbs of Venus, which is pink and green, Mercury, purple and white, and Mars, red and black. On the terrestrial order of magnitude, one can see that Mars rules Aries, the ram, and right ascension, designated by the symbol Ra or Re, also known as right ascension of meridian or ram. Mars rules the first house, and thus is the first man, born in the morning, directly due east. Mars exalts in the 10th house, Capricorn, and it is here that the red man, the first man, is made with red clay of cardinal earth. His planetary feminine duality is Venus, who rules Taurus, the second zodiac sign. In this way, we can see that Mars is the scientific atom, Ra, Atum Ra, while Saturn is Set. Without the biblical atom, Mars, and Eve, Venus, or Evenus, and Satan, which is Saturn, and his many variants. Or that Abraham married Sarah, and that Brahma married Saraswati. The atom comes in many forms and in many cultures. Can you see this? And it should be easy to see that Adam, who is the first man, and Eve, who was created second, reside in the Garden of Eden, with its 4 rivers being your heart, and that the tree is your spiritual spine, the snake is your kundalini, and the sun is your soul. Another point of view of the Greek gods is that of Jupiter, positive, Neptune, negative, Uranus and Gaia, both being neutral. Or of Zeus being positive, Poseidon being negative, Uranus being neutral, and Demeter, whose name translates as Mother Earth. From the point of view of the Roman gods, where Mars is positive, Venus is negative, Quirinus, who is Mercury, being neutral, and Rhea, whose name is an anagram for Ea, earth, heart, ear, and theater. Or from the point of view of the New Testament, which is Greek, it should be easy to see that Jesus is positive, Lucifer is negative, God is neutral, and the Holy Grail is your balanced heart. Jesus' sacred heart is the sacred green stone of the Holy Grail. So the secret of light transcends genres as well and spills over from religion and into contemporary stories, some of which have garnered their own religions. Star Wars bears the unmistakable motif of the secret of light, with Luke, Darth Vader, the invading darkness, Obi-Wan Kenobi, balancing the two opposing forces, and Yoda being a personification of the Force itself. Transformers bear the unmistakable motif of the secret of light, with Optimus Prime, who is the Optimum One, and his earlier name, Orion Pax, as the 1 and 11 because he is Orion, and with his Power Master, High Q, whose full name is High Q Jones, High Q, which means that the Allspark is your heart. Fantastic Four bear the unmistakable motif of the Secret of Light, with Johnny Blaze as the Flaming One, the Invisible Woman as the Sacred Feminine 2, and Mr. Elastic being the scientific-minded Mercury as the Flexible 3.14, and finally, the Big-Hearted Thing as the number 4, or Earth, whose romantic confidant, Miss Grimm Masters, is the Blind Sculptor, or Saturn. From the point of view of the Hindu gods, we can clearly see the subconscious motif of electromagnetism within a plethora of stories, beginning with Brahma being positive, Shiva being negative, Vishnu, whose name literally means equal, and he reclines on Karma, the world turtle, which is your heart. And while most people see them as three separate deities, from my eyes it appears as one thing, being composed of three things. You should now understand that the second incarnation of Vishnu is your balanced head and heart, or that the churning of the milk ocean is the story of balancing your masculine and feminine polarities in order to achieve balance and enlightenment. Remember, it is the nine-headed snake king Vasuki, who is your mind, that holds the divine jewel. Or the story of Jaya and Vijaya, who are personifications of positive and negative dueling energies, who are the guardians and gatekeepers of Vishnu. The neutral one can now be understood. Remember, Jaya and Vijaya were cursed by the four Kumaras, your heart, who appear to be mere children, but are actually ancient beings. And yes, from this point of view, it is turtles all the way down. Now, I'm going to fight the final battle of the great year for you. In the prophecy of Kalki, the final avatar of Vishnu would read that Koka and Vikoka are the twin generals who will aid the demon Kali, whose name means time, in his battle against Kalki, the 10th and final avatar of Vishnu, whose coming heralds the end of the Kali Yuga, which is the end and the beginning of time. Kali, the demon king of the Kali Yuga, is assisted by his generals, the twin brothers Koka and Vikoka, being the duality of positive and negative current, and another fractal refoldment of Jaya and Vijaya, who threaten to defeat Kalki by raising themselves from the dead faster than he can kill them. The god Brahma eventually appears to Kalki and reveals to him that no earthly or celestial weapon can kill the brothers if they are allowed to hold on to one another. The only way Kalki can defeat them is to separate and attack them both simultaneously. Kalki then forces himself between the two and lands a crushing blow to each demon's temple at the same time. Please observe that Koka and Vikoka reside on your temples, which flanks the pineal gland, and just as every savior, you have a white horse, which is your hippocampus, and a magic sword, which is the words of truth. And if you can understand that this is not a physical battle, but a spiritual battle, then you will realize that the knowledge of light, which I am presenting to you, is what destroys the darkness. In other words, the final battle of Kalki and Kali has been fought in front of your very eyes and hearts. You now have absolute proof that God exists and can usher in the Satya Yuga, which is the age of truth. Congratulations. And we can continue into East Asia with the stories of Long Wang, the Dragon King. Remember, he only answers to the Jade Emperor, which is your heart. Now look at this 11th century terracotta figure of a Dragon King. He is a god man who has balanced himself and earned heaven. And you can find this same metaphysical knowledge in Egypt. Notice the statue of the Pharaoh Khafre and how his falcon just peeks over his forehead. However, when the same statue is viewed from the profile view, the falcon is revealed. This is an amazing metaphysical carving, encoding the process of ascension. And do you think they knew anything about the mathematics of the Limicon trisectrix? It should not go unnoticed that the Egyptian falcon motif is the same as the motif of the Asian dragon kings. And here's the fractal pattern of light within Osiris and Isis, Horus and Geb, or the four canopic jars. It is Geb that is the Jib, just as the two variant spellings of the Holy Mountain, those being Jebel Barkal with a G and Jebel Barkal with a J, are interchangeable. And here's the secret of light as told within the iconic Egyptian symbology. And for the Freemasons in this audience, we can see the point of view of Hermes Trismegistus, who is thrice great because he is great positive, great negative, and great neutral. And his emerald tablets are your very heart, which pairs with the Philosopher's Stone, your tripolarized pineal. In conclusion, you should know that everything is light, consisting of positive, negative, and neutral electromagnetic current. That light is God, the creator without form, and all of our religions, without exception, are the personifications of God, which is the creator in forms. God is absolutely real, and we all worship the very same God. Now put down your swords and bring peace to this earth. And for a little levity, I imagine right now that the negative minded people are probably thinking this, while the positive people in the crowd are thinking something along the lines of this, and ready to take on the world. Whereas I ultimately wish to see you in the middle with me, taking life seriously, but remembering to lighten up. Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, I'll address your questions, comments, and concerns. Ladies and gentlemen, my website is celestialvision.info, and on it you will find everything we discussed today and more. I invite you to check out the library page, which has 20 free books on the secret of light, as well as the game theory page, where you can discover the harmonic mathematics of the Riemann hypothesis. And please feel free to like, subscribe, and share your comments.